Hey everyone, back at our Pat here. Today is a super exciting episode. Do you see where I am? I'm in my kitchen. And today we are going to be cooking up some of the delicious cassava. I'm going to be making one of my favorite cassava recipes, and I'm going to throw in a little extra something. I'm going to make some cassava dumplings. I'm in the kitchen with my husband. He's making some ackee and sawfish. Ackee and sawfish is the national dish of Jamaica, and we Jamaicans love our ackee and sawfish. But we need sides. So I'm going to be making my favorite cassava dish, and I'm going to be adding in some cassava dumplings because we Jamaicans love our dumplings. So guys, you're going to be learning how to cook two different forms of cassava today. So let's get started. All right, so this is a cassava that I harvested yesterday. Actually, what happened, if you guys missed that video, be sure to go and watch the cassava harvest. What happened is a Hurricane Nicole passed through this week, and our cassava plant, we lost a cassava plant. So instead of just letting it sit there, we decided to harvest. So this was a really unexpected harvest. I didn't even know the cassava would have fully formed. I had planned on harvesting it next year. But guys, look, we had so much cassava. We had almost 20 pounds of cassava. So guys, I'm going to show you how to clean up the cassava and then how I'm going to cook it. So I've already washed this cassava, but of course we have to chop it into manageable chunks. So the first thing we're going to do is cut it up. And as you can see, the cassava skin it's almost like already peeling. It's already peeling like this. You see that purple flesh? You want to peel through that purple flesh so to get to the white part. So let's go ahead and peel this. And this is what the inside of the cassava looks like. So now I'm going to peel it to get rid of the purplish outside flesh. Cassava is a bit hard when you're initially peeling it, but once it's cooked, it's going to be nice and soft. And I already have some water boiling. Cassava has cassava as well as the cassava leaves. Everything, of course, is edible, but cassava as well as the leaves contain cyanide, which, of course, you know that can kill you. So you have to be careful that you cook cassava well. They say cook for a minimum of 15 minutes. I always cook 20 minutes just to be on the safe side. So I'm gonna finish peeling my cassava and get right back to you. All right, so I just finished cutting up the cassava, and you can see I cut each piece in two. So I cut each slice in two, so the slices are about equal in size. You can see everything is clean now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of the smaller pieces and reserve those, put those on the side to be used for my my cassava dumplings, and the rest I'm gonna drop into the boiling water. And Chef Maki is making his fried plantain to go with it, fried green plantain. The ackee and sawfish is already ready. Guys, can you smell that? Look at that. Ooh. Ah, So I gotta hurry up with this cassava because everybody's hungry, everybody's ready to eat. Everybody's ready to eat. Farmer Pat style and Chef Mackie style. All right, so we're gonna let that boil for 20 minutes. I'm gonna start working on the dumplings now. So I'm actually gonna boil the dumplings in the same water as the cassava. There's no reason to, cook them separately. For the cassava water, I added a little bit of salt. Always be sure to add salt to your water. Add a little bit of salt to the water. All right, and you guys can salt the water to taste. So okay, so to make Jamaican dumplings, the boiled dumplings, you just need flour and water. It's very, very simple to make. You really don't need to measure the flour. Here I'm gonna use 2 cups of flour. But normally I don't measure my flour, but for this purpose I'll use 2 cups of flour. So normal Jamaican dumplings, all you need is flour and a little bit of salt and water to make boiled dumplings. If you're making fried dumplings, then you can use a little baking soda or you can just use self-rising flour, but the process is the exact same. So I'm just mixing the flour and the salt together. And what I'm gonna do, in the traditional cassava dumpling, you grated the cassava, but I am doing it new style, not old style, so I'm just gonna blend the cassava and incorporate it into the flour. So here are the 3 pieces of cassava. I just put a little tip of water in it, and I'm gonna blend it with my blender. So here's what it looks like. So normal for traditional Jamaican dumplings, we would just add water to the flour and salt mixture and just keep massaging it until it's at the right consistency. But now I'm gonna add cassava and water. I'm gonna add the cassava and water, and then I'm gonna mix the flour and blend together until it gets to that same dumpling consistency. And guys, guess what? This is my first time making cassava dumplings. My first time. Guys, we're doing so many first times together. So I'm just mixing the dumpling, mixing the mixture. When you're making dumplings, you have to be very careful. Just add a little bit of water, a little bit of moisture at a time, because otherwise it can get too runny. But if it gets too runny, it's okay. Just add more flour till you get to the right consistency. So this is how it is so far. I'm gonna put a little water in here to just give it a little bit more liquid. Just adding a little water from the fridge. You can add warm water if you want to, but it's really not necessary. Absolutely not necessary, because this is boiled dumplings that I'm making, so it doesn't matter. So I just added a tip more water, and then I'm going to continue kneading my flour. All right. Knead it, knead it, knead it. Flour is going to stick to your fingers. Just pull it off. Continue kneading it. It's coming together. I want to get this in with the cassava so that they cook at the same time. So this is how it looks as it comes together. Then I'm going to show you how you form your dumplings. So I'm just kneading it. Kneading it. See? Guys, you know how to make Jamaican dumplings now. You know how to make Jamaican dumplings. And you don't need cassava for this. As I said, it's my first time adding cassava. Jamaican dumplings are normally just flour and water and a little salt. That's it for boiled dumplings. All right, so guys, you see the consistency? I'm making sure everything is well incorporated. And guys, look, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. All right. So now you just take little pieces of dumpling off, little pieces of the dough off, and you roll it and you flatten it. This is a Jamaican dumpling. Gonna drop it in the water. Then I'm gonna show you again. You roll it, you flatten it. Jamaican dumpling, cassava dumpling, very special dumpling, cassava dumpling. You guys can try it and impress your friends with the cassava dumpling. Gonna go a little bit faster. My husband and my mom are hungry. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna be perfect in the tummy going in. So we're gonna have 6 cassava dumplings. There are 3 of us, so each of us can get 2. Or we can save some for tomorrow because we're gonna have 3 different kinds of cassava. All right, so that's it. So now everything just has to boil. There are 11 minutes left. I'm probably gonna take the cassava pieces out and let the dumplings cook for another extra 10 minutes because I wanna make sure, as I said, to make sure that all the cassava is boiling for at least 20 minutes to get rid of the cyanide. I know it sounds scary, guys, but people all over the world eat cassava. It's probably one of the most common starches across the entire world. So as long as it's cooked properly, it's perfect. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up while our dumplings and cassava cooks. Getting ready for the next step. Nice and soft. The fork just slides right through. So this is fully cooked. I ended up cooking it for maybe 25 minutes. I just left it in with the dumplings. As long as it's not falling apart, it's okay. And even if it's falling apart, for the second dish that I'm making, that is quite fine. So cassava can even be eaten just like this. I mean, it's a perfect side dish. You eat it like you'd eat a yam or a potato. So this can be eaten just like this. It can be mashed. There's just so many different ways. But the way I'm gonna do it, my special way that I'm gonna do it today, is adding salt and garlic and frying it. So I'm gonna use the same oil that Chef Mackie used to make his these delicious fried plantains. I'm gonna turn it on high, and then I'm gonna turn it down to medium high. I just turn it on high right now to just get it going quickly. See a couple little specks in here. I'm just gonna remove these little specks, so it doesn't burn. But this oil is pretty clean. If the oil was messy, I wouldn't use it. I would use new oil, but it's all going down in the same hatch. So it's all good. So I'm gonna heat up the oil. All right, so I turned the dumplings off. I'll just leave them in the pot. They'll continue cooking, but that's 20 minutes for the dumplings, so that's good. And I'm gonna go ahead and start transferring the cassava to the oil. And it's gonna fall apart like this, and it's okay. You'll see why in a minute. You can hear the sizzle. If you don't hear the sizzle, wait until it gets hot enough. You hear that sizzle? That's what you want to hear when you're pan searing this. Guys, this is one of the simplest ways to make cassava, apart from just boiling it. This is one of the simplest ways of making cassava, but it makes such a delicious side. So here I just have some garlic powder. It doesn't matter what brand you use. This is actually Badia garlic powder that I put into this Great Value. You just lightly sprinkle this with a little garlic powder. Of course, you can choose to use fresh garlic, but I find the garlic powder, it doesn't burn. So I'll use that, and then you lightly sprinkle some salt. So this is already salted in the water, so it already has a nice flavor going all the way through it. But I'm just lightly sprinkling with salt while I'm frying it. And guys, it's as simple as that. So now I'm gonna make it brown on one side for maybe 3 minutes. The stove started on high. I'm gonna turn it down to like medium high. And then what we're gonna do now is slightly mash it. So I'm gonna use this masher to just not mash it complete, but just to flatten it. You don't want it completely flat, but you want it a little bit flattened out. All right. So it's not completely flat. So I probably flattened it to be about half an inch thickness. You want the thickness to be consistent when you're frying it. Just like when I was boiling it, I kind of had the sizes consistent size. That way they cook at the same rate. The same thing when you're frying it, you kind of mash it to the same consistency, at about half an inch. So we'll be back in 3 minutes. While we wait for that to fry, let's check on our cassava dumplings. Oh boy, I can feel it. Perfect consistency. Perfect consistency. Wow. I cannot wait to taste these, guys. Take these out and get the cassava out. Ooh, guys, guys, guys. I cannot wait to have breakfast. 5. I thought I made 6 dumplings. I made 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So somebody's gonna get extra. Who's the lucky one who's gonna get extra? Or brata, as Jamaicans say. So here are our dumplings. And here is our boiled cassava. So I told you we're gonna eat cassava 2 ways. Guys, we're eating cassava 3 ways. Boiled cassava is 1 way. Cassava dumplings and fried cassava. Oops, which looks like it's about ready to turn. Let's turn this. Let's turn these. Let's see how they're doing. Yep, it looks like it's ready to turn. Uh-oh. Yep, perfect, guys. Look at that color. How much more perfect can it be? So that was about, I don't know if that was as much as 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. Always be sure to check. Check it after like a couple minutes just to make sure. Well, a couple pieces aren't fully ready yet. But you know what? It can be eaten just like that. Let's turn this. I'm gonna leave these a little bit more. I'm gonna put a dusting of garlic powder on the other side too. I won't add any salt because I don't want it too salty. All right, Chef Mackey's out of the bath and he's getting hungry. So I'm gonna take these first few pieces off that are ready and we're gonna do our taste test. Guys, it smells amazing. Guys, it smells amazing. Wow, look at that. Look at that beautiful color. Let's see. Looking good, looking good. So it took a little bit more than 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes on each side, but you guys, you judge it based on your stove and based on the color that you want. I'm gonna flip this and then we're gonna do a taste test. so everybody can eat. Eat, eat, eat. So let me get my plate ready. First, we're gonna put some ackee and saltfish on the plate. Ah, guys, look at this. Look at this. Ooh wee! Ackee and saltfish. Get a little ackee and saltfish. Then I'm gonna get a couple pieces of, well, one piece of plantain because I don't want to overload my plate. And guys, I cannot wait. Believe it or not, what I'm most excited about is this cassava dumpling because I've never had this before. So I'm gonna get one piece of cassava dumpling, one piece of boiled cassava, and one piece of this fried cassava. Let's go taste it. And I'm gonna turn this off. The heat will be enough to finish browning up the opposite side. All right, guys, I decided to give my husband the first plate since he waited so patiently. Oh, it looks like he's going in for the cassava dumpling first. What do you think about the cassava dumpling? Can you taste it?
Very good.
Wow, so you can actually taste the cassava?
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
It's really good.
Wow.
Really good.
So you know I love you because I gave you the first taste, and that was my first time making it. How about the fried one? Just add a little salt and garlic.
Perfect.
Wow.
Very good.
Nice, nice. That came straight from our backyard. We grew it ourselves. Can you believe it?
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent.
Try the boiled one.
Wow. Now they're very good.
Wow, good, good, good. Awesome. After digging now. After digging now. Well, guys, you heard it from Chef Mackie. It was a hit, but let me try it for myself. As a matter of fact, he's getting seconds now. But let me try mine. Let me try it for myself. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go in for the dumpling, and let me point it down so you guys can see. Gonna go in for the dumpling first. That's what the dumpling looks like. Perfect consistency. Gonna put a little ackee and saltfish on top. Guys, perfection. Perfection, if I say so myself. Plantain is perfect too. Now let's try the plantain have a little touch of sweetness, so good. Let's try the boiled cassava. It's just creamy. It just melts away in my mouth. Make sure you cook it right. When it's fully cooked, it's almost like a translucent color. All the whiteness goes away and it kind of looks like this. If you see it like white on the edges, just put it back in the water and boil it for a few more minutes. And then let's try the fried one. I'm just gonna pick it up with my hand. This is what it looks like. The little hint of garlic and salt just brings out that flavor. Guys, you gotta try this. The flavor is so good, it almost don't need meat. As a matter of fact, cassava makes excellent fries. You can actually slice it up and eat this instead of potato fries. Instead of French fries, you can make cassava fries. The ackee and saltfish with a little hint of scotch bonnet. And of course, the scotch bonnet is from our garden also. Well, guys, I must say this was a hit. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Share this video with your friends. If you know somebody who would love to try cassava dumpling or even use this recipe to make sweet potato dumpling or pumpkin dumpling, you guys can take it and mix it up however you want. But guys, I would appreciate if you guys would subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to click on all so you can see all my upcoming videos. Who knows what else we'll be doing with cassava and with everything else we're growing. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Till next time. Bye now. It's the next morning and I peeled most of the rest of the cassava and I'm boiling them in big chunks for 15 minutes to preserve it. So what I'm first doing, and of course, as you guys can see, I've added some more cassava dumplings. Guys, those dumplings were the bomb yesterday. I put even more cassava in the flour this time. Anyway, boiling the cassava for 15 minutes in chunks in order to get rid of the cyanide, and then I'm gonna make it completely cool off. I'm gonna pour the water off, make it completely cool off, and then store them in flat in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. That way I'll have cassava whenever I need to make any more fried cassava or cassava French fries or anything or any more cassava dumplings. I'll have cassava to last me for a while. So just wanted to show you real quick how I'm preserving it.